Hey everybody. Just get my camera right. Alright. Cool. Hey everybody. Welcome to another episode of Daily Motivation. And if you haven't already, if you haven't checked out Destiny on Purpose, if you are at a point where you're feeling that I need a change in my life, um, everything I'm trying just doesn't seem to work out, the relationships I'm trying to have just doesn't seem to be panning, just everything that I'm attempting to do just seems so frustrating and just doesn't seem to be able to continue. I want to say to you, that's the place where I was. And what helped me was the information that I put into this book. Um, and it's a book to study. It's a book to really learn because that's how I learned. I learned through study. I learned through really putting a rigorous practice in order to create a mindset that was conducive to success. Now, again, this is daily motivation, 365 days of consistency, doing the same things over and over again until they become habit. Again, I appreciate anyone taking their time to watch this now or even later. And like the great Jay-Z said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So today I want to talk what is the number one way or strategy, I don't even want to call it strategy, or key, let's say key to charisma. See, many of us want to be great salespeople. Many of us want to be great influencers, want to be good people in our business, good managers, good producers, good entrepreneurs, and gain following. But how do you do that? To me, hey, thank you for the like. For me, the number one way to do that is through empathy. Through empathy. You know, I had a little bit of issue with my wife. You know, we're human. We have our own problems as well. And she was really mad at me. And I realized that I was adding fuel to the fire the more I was trying to defend myself. The less I was trying to see it through her eyes and only see it through my eyes, the more we were clashing. The more that the little spark became a big forest fire. The more that I kept thinking to myself, hey, I'm not wrong. I didn't do anything. What is her problem? But the more I kept thinking that way, the more I was adding fuel to the fire. But as I started to empathize with what she was going through, and I started to really think, okay, why would she outburst like that? Why would she act like that? Why would she have those issues with me? Why would she, hey, Marilyn, why would she be angry with me? And I really sat there and I thought about it. And I really dissected in my mind the reasons why she would be upset. And I started to empathize with her. I started to put my feet in her shoes. And I started to think to myself that, you know what, Rich? She's going through some stuff. You got to be a little bit more sensitive. It may not be you. It may not be what's the struggle that she's going through. But whatever it is, you have to be the proper man and partner to say, hey, you know what, I have your back, and that's on me, and I empathize where you're coming from. And so the biggest thing I did was apologize. That was really the key. That's all she really wanted. I went to the store, got her a bouquet of roses, and I came home and I apologized. And everything became cool and calm because she started for a moment, she said, you know what, okay, I think he understands where I'm coming from. And that's all we ever really want, is to be understood. And having empathy for people really produces your charisma because they say, okay, I'm not alone in this. There's somebody out there that actually cares about what I'm going through. So you say, hey, I want to be a good influencer. You should empathize on all the people that you want to influence. If you say, hey, I want to influence people to be better in their self-development, you have to empathize where they are. So many times I tell stories about my struggles because I understand where they're coming from. Somebody said to me once, Rich, you can never know how the dirt is unless you've been in it. Unless you've been in it. So it's good to empathize. Never sit on your high horse to believe that you're always right. We're never always right. But even when we are right, it's always good to empathize and see from the other person's point of view. Because they might just be looking at an angle where they can't see your angle. So it's best for you to come down and see theirs. It's best to come down to see theirs. Hence they said the story of Jesus. God came down because he wanted to know the human experience. He said, okay, before I can understand your cries of help, let me understand your cries of help. Let me embody it first so I could truly understand what you're going through. How could I understand hunger if I've never been hungry? How could I understand pain if I've never been in pain? So when you empathize, even if it's a client, even if it's a spouse, even if it's a potential customer, you want to empathize where they are. They're like, hey man, hey, I understand when I'm putting out products out there. I'm like, listen, I understand many of you don't have money. Trust me, I do understand that. But where I came when I first started with Les Brown, I didn't have the money. But now I'm here. Look what stuff I've done because I put my focus first before my excuses. Again, I understand where you're coming from. I used to spend change for gas. So when you empathize with people realize, hey, you know what? Rich understands where I'm coming from. Rich is just not talking from a higher place. Rich understands where I've been. That creates charisma because people want to be with people and interact with people that they can relate to. Not somebody that's on a high horse. Not somebody that says, hey, you're an idiot. You should get like me because you're dumb. Of course you're not dumb. You're just learning. And I was in the process of learning. I've had some influencers and some speakers say that stuff to me. And I was like, man, what a jerk. He doesn't know the struggle I was going through. I understand what he was doing with the tough love. But I had to understand that, or I wanted him to understand, to empathize with me first before he judged me on it. Before he judged me on it. And when you can empathize with the people, that's when they say, you know what, that's the person I want to follow. That's the person I want to be like. That's the person I'm running with. And that creates charisma. And if you haven't read the book, 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader, that's 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader by John Maxwell. I would advise to read it. It's a great major keys on how to be a great leader and how to influence people. And the number one thing he says is through charisma. It's through charisma. Again, this is Rich Fontaine. Either you could agree with me or not agree with me. But either way, I feel this was a successful conversation. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I hope you have a beautiful day. Empathize today with anyone that's having issues or anyone you're having issues with. Try to put your feet in their shoes and see where they're coming from before you judge them. Love is love. I appreciate